Hi, I'm Kevin Farmer. I'm the Deputy Director at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. I'm going to talk to you about International Museums Day. The theme of International Museums Day is the future of museums, which is in fact quite timely as we are still going through the pandemic caused by the COVID-19 virus. But what does that mean for museums? It means that during the past year, as we've all gone through varying stages of lockdown and pausing and wondering how it is that we're now living at work, how are museums relevant? Museums are simply relevant because we've utilized this time to pivot, to use our online content to engage our clients, customers, Barbadians, those Barbadians living outside of the diaspora, as to what it is to remind them not only of their history, but how that history can help them to connect, reconnect, and get through this period. Especially when you realize that the last time Barbados would have gone through a pandemic was 1918, or the 1854 cholera epidemic. But what does that mean for us? It means that we try to get better at engaging with you. And as we move towards our 90th anniversary, as we explore our museums, our story, it's about asking you to help us to better tell the story about us. In the next few months, as you come to the museum, you'll see a brand new children's gallery sponsored by the Maria Holder Memorial Trust. You also see lots of construction at the museum because we're changing, and we're changing for you, and changing because of what you said you want us to be. And that's being funded by the IADB through a loan to the Barbados government so that we can have a more interactive museum exhibitions that speak to the story that you want to see and that you want us to tell. And all of this is made possible by you. Those persons who rent the museum, those persons who come through and have different shows here, those who come and pay as members. Because without members and volunteers, museums simply cannot exist. You don't help us to go into the future. And we expect and hope that you will not only provide us with your feedback and your volunteer hours, but where possible, also provide us with the funding that we might need in order to continue our programming. At the end of the day, museums are about us, our stories, those hidden gems that sometimes we forget, or the fact that we are actually living in a historic moment and don't actually see it. How many of you, and I'm showing my age now, remember holding hands around Barbados? Who would have thought that that was a historic moment? Or how many of you saw and went up to the airport to see the Concorde land for the last time? That was history in the making. And of course, how many of you have survived this past year during COVID? You've lived through a historic period that 10, 20 years from now, people will want to understand, well, how did we do it? And the place that they will go will be the museum. At the end of the day, museums are about us. Not only about what we did in the past, but how we can learn from the past to do new things in the present and the future. So the future of museums are you.